Recently, I was fixing a bug in my app and I asked LLM for help. It gave me an explanation and I didn't trust it. Something was weird in the explanation. Eventually, that worked out fine for me, but it made me realize how dangerous that particular answer could be if you're just learning how to program. So, let me show you what happened. I'm actively working on my iOS app called Spendboard, and there is a waitlist in the description, by the way. It's a local first budgeting app, and at the time I was implementing drag and drop for a horizontal list in the money sources section. On the surface, it's a small feature, but drag and drop usually means you're dealing with a few states at the same time. You need to know what's being dragged, what should be visible, what should be hidden, and how everything updates when the drag ends. So it can be really tricky. To make the UI look right, I decided to hide the item that's currently being dragged. Otherwise, you end up seeing the same item twice. To do that, I added a separate store that keeps track of which item is being dragged. And the idea was simple. When dragging starts, I set the item, and when it ends, I clear it. I also added a guard just in case if something is already being dragged. If you set another one, it will raise an error. I made a fresh build, launched the app, and started dragging the first item. And immediately I got an error saying, "An account is already dragged. Please clear it first." I just stared at the screen for a second like, what? The app had just launched, I touched one item exactly, nothing else happened. So this error didn't really make sense to me at all, and I started looking into this problem. I added a few print statements where it made sense, when dragging starts, when the store updates, things like that. I expected to see some function being called twice or more, so I expected to see the logs about dragging action more than one time. I rebuilt the app and ran it again. And all the logs were printed out only once, not twice, and the error was still happening. At that point, I didn't really want to start guessing, and I didn't plan to spend much time on it also, so I opened Claude, explained my situation, and shared the relevant code. The first thing it pointed out was that I wasn't creating my store correctly, and instead of creating an instance of it, I should be using a shared instance. And that was actually true. I fixed it, I tested it, but the bug was still there. Then Claude said this: "Between your setting print and the error, there is likely a second on-appear call that you're not seeing logged because it happens so fast or your login isn't capturing it. This is a known Swift UI behavior." And when I read that, I was like, I don't believe that. Look, I'm not a Swift UI expert and mobile development is not my main area, but this explanation felt weird. And if you take it seriously, it basically means that some code can run, your logs won't show it, and you're just supposed to accept that. And that didn't feel like something I wanted to rely on. And what bothered me the most is that I could easily imagine someone who's just starting out with the programming, reading this answer and thinking, okay, I guess frameworks sometimes just do things you can't really see. Because let's be honest, when you're learning how to program, you didn't build many apps yet, and you get so much information from books, from videos, so you can really take that answer as is. And once you accept it, debugging the whole programming process becomes very unreliable. So I closed the AI chat and went back to my code. I didn't try any new idea, I didn't add more logs, I just read through it again slowly, line by line. And in one place I had written not equals instead of equals, and that was it. One character. Classic, right? I fixed it, rebuilt the app, ran it again, and everything worked exactly as expected. And this is the main point I want to make with this video. LLM doesn't really try to find the truth, right? It tries to produce a convincing explanation, and often that explanation is really correct, but sometimes it's not. And the problem isn't AI itself. The problem starts when we developers stop questioning the answers and stop verifying things ourselves. So this is how I personally use AI. When I work on any problem, I first make sure that I understand the problem on my own. Then I use AI as a second opinion or as a tool that can perform my commands, not as a final answer. And if the explanation sounds weird, I don't trust it. I go and investigate the topic, I read about it, I watch videos, I try out examples, and so on. And if the explanation requires belief instead of verification, well, it's probably not a great explanation. So if you're just starting out with the programming, please don't give AI full control over your decisions, even if it's so tempting. Use it, experiment with it, but always double check things yourself. Thank you guys for watching this video. If it was helpful, feel free to subscribe.